Hello there, Show here. Welcome back to another episode of 100 Games with Show. And we are off to our 8th game. And very similar to the last one we made over there with basketball, this time as well we are building a minigame which you can play with 4 players in total. And it is inspired by, yes, Mario Party. And actually the idea came from, as I was looking through, as I played the first Mario Party on the N64, the good old days, it kinda looked like this. But these days on the Switch, or I'm not sure if it looked like this on the Wii as well, it looks like this. So instead of pumping up the Bowser in the good old days, you're now pumping up balloons. But in the Minecraft version, we are of course not pumping up Bowser or any balloons, we are pumping up a Ghast. And since we are on the latest update, we are pumping up the Happy Ghast. That's what we are going to do. And you might ask, how are we going to do this? So the mechanic is kinda simple, I would say. Which we have to create a pumping station, which of course we can't do anything with, like just having some lever there. And actually I kind of place a lever and do this kind of like you just spam click, which is kind of boring to be honest. So what I thought would be way more interesting to have a, like you have to jump on the platform to pump it up, and a pressure plate is of course the best choice which we can use here. And we are getting a signal, or like an item down, there we go. We got us a signal strength, and we can then use that to kind of create a counter, and like the level of pressure we accumulate, and if it reaches the max, it, of course the Happy Ghast is not exploding. It would be interesting to actually do that, but it would be annoying to replace the Happy Ghast every time, so let's don't do that. But instead, what we do, instead of having an Happy Ghast or balloon explode, we are exploding a firework, which kind of has the same effect. So if one player reaches the top, the maximum pressure, it fires a firework rocket, and it signals, like we also can color coordinate it, and then it signals which player won, which we also have to kind of lock the other fireworks or the other stations so they don't shoot a firework rocket as well. But yeah, let's do a quick time lapse, and I will gonna create the first station here. Just gonna do the simple pumping up station and the counter. So see you in a second.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Alright, so we got the basic mechanic in, and you might think, oh, it looks so similar to the basketball if you have watched that. Yes, it is very similar. It is kind of like the same counter, redstone lamp counter, as we have used over there. And it is a bit of a like different purpose, because this one shows like the level of pressure, let's call it that, you have already accumulated. And back here we have the dropper, which is just like putting items into this dropper and then puts it into this decorated pot, which we also have locked until it is reset, which is the green line. which unlocks the hopper down here and puts it back into the dropper. You can use different items in here. So I use full stack items. You can also use eggs, snowballs, or anything else, which would make it faster, or you just make this counter here bigger, because I just used 7 blocks, which in total, if we take a look at the pot, 7 signal strength is about like 28 items, and that's what you're gonna need, a bit less to be honest, and to fill this gorge up, as you would say. And we do this by jumping on the pressure plate. So you see that it is delayed here. That's because I put a kind of a delay here, but subtracted by a certain amount here. So what I wanted to avoid is just spamming, just like just walking up here and down. Or actually jumping is a better method to get the rhythm in. As you can see, this line is powered continuously if I do this, because it never really runs out. So this dropper is actually not putting that many items up there, not in this dropper, in the decorated pot. So it actually takes some training to get the perfect timing, because you have to wait until this redstone lamp is off. Then you can apply another and then another. So you kind of have to get the timings perfect to hit it on just when it went out. And then another signal is applied and the dropper puts another item into it. And you can play around with how long you want that timer to run. If you want to speed it up, you just have a higher signal strength coming out of here. So I use signal strength of 3 here. And if you want to have it lower, you just remove that in total, or just apply 1 or 2. So you can configure how long this one burns and when you can jump again. And if we hit the top, let's do a few more jumps. There we go. A firework worker is being shot against this glass wall, because this block here will be where we have our happy Ghast. So we kind of have to place it in here. In survival it will be harder to apply that. In creative it will be easy, because we just spawn it in here. So this is kind of the basic mechanic of pumping up and getting the gauge up, and then if we just hit the reset game, it slowly decreases, which is so satisfying to watch, to be honest, as it drains out the items and puts it back into the dropper. And if it's all the way down, we can hit the reset or shut it off, and then we can play again. Now what we have to do is, of course, create the other players platforms as well, and we need kind of a mechanic, a lock mechanic, which disables the other dispensers up here. So only the first one shoots the rocket, and the other, if they are like 1 second behind the first one, are not being applied, which should lock. So you know it's time for another time lapse, and this will be the last one, because we will do all at once. So hit it!
Ladies and gentlemen,
Here we go, we got us our pumping station in as well. So I put some happy gas up here, which just look lovely. I silenced them, and also they have no AI. But I believe if you put them with the normal Ghast before in a glass block, they should not move, which gives the illusion you are actually pumping up the Ghast. And just for safety measures, that's why we have the glass, so they do not get hurt. And we can test that by shooting out a fire rocket, and it is not taking any damage. So we got the decoration of the room in. I could have done more decoration, but the main gist is the game itself. So you have seen the counter, you have seen the pressure plate pumping station down there, you have seen the reset line. The new thing up here is to lock the other dispensers. So for example, let's put some items in here until it reaches the maximum. There we go. To demonstrate how this up here works. So you see, we just use this signal strength, which puts it in the max, and we kind of divide it into two directions. The first direction is to lock it, to lock this repeater here, and the second direction is for the other dispensers or for the other player dispenser to be locked as well. So we do the same thing here. So we lock this repeater here. So if it gets, which is simulate here, this player also reaches the top. If it gets power to the last lamp, it is not activating the dispenser, and the same here. And I did not put a lever here, but I think you get the idea that we just lock it, and we can do this from any direction. So for example, we're just gonna remove a bit here. That's good enough. So it is not powering and everything is off. So for example, a display reaches the top, and I've not put any fire rocket in there, but you can see that the other repeaters are now locked as well. And the same for this player, it is locking the repeater here, here and here. And of course the repeater itself as well, because it is the same logic line here. So for the last one, we're gonna just use you and you to simulate that. I'm gonna place you here. So the last one is a bit more tricky, but it works, as you can see. So we needed two lines here, because this player here, or the signal which is coming from this player's gauge, is not reaching all the way over there. So that's why we had to use another line for this one, because this here is just barely making it, as you can see, with signal strength 1, and but from here to over here it doesn't reach, it doesn't make it. If I can demonstrate that real quick, and it makes it, wait, what was the purpose? Maybe I changed the design. Maybe it reaches actually. No, it does not. Yeah, it's just one off, that it does not reach this one. I was a bit confused now. And yeah, that's why we had to use a second line to actually reach it over here and then lock it. The other way is, interestingly, the other way works, because we are extending the signal right here, but we can't do this here. So that's why we needed a second, just to get the signal from all the way down here to up here. And this line here is like getting the signal from here to here, here to here, here to here, and all the way. So this is omnidirectional, and this is only in this direction, so from down here to up here. And so we can lock the dispensers, and only one player fires off the rocket, and we know, this player won, because another indicator is that the other players do not reach the last bar up here, because it is locked and it will never be powered. So yeah, that is the game. Pumpit, which was inspired by Mario Party, the good old days, and it's fun. It's fun if you play around with the timings. And I think if I build this game in a survival world, I will put a note block below with some music which is playing while the game is on. Also install like a start game button or a lever to play the music, to actually have something going on, because otherwise you would just like without any music just stand there and jump and jump and jump, and it's definitely more fun with some audio in the background. And yeah, that's about it. Hope you like this game, and as always, leave a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe, and I see you in the next episode. Goodbye.